Hello, my name is Zach Snively, and my Songshare presentation today will be on the song Rock Around the Clock. Before we talk about the song itself, we'll talk about a little bit of history of Rock Around the Clock. Rock Around the Clock was written in 1952 and recorded by Bill Haley in his comments in 1954. Rock Around the Clock was used in the opening credits of the movie Blackboard Jungle in 1955, which propelled the song to popularity. We'll discuss this more later about how movies play a role with music. On July 9, 1955, Rock Around the Clock became the first rock and roll song to reach #1 on the Billboard's pop charts. It wasn't the first rock and roll song, but it was the first one to reach #1, and it remained there for 8 weeks. Rock Around the Clock is also often cited as being the biggest selling vinyl rock and roll single of all time, with estimates of numbers of at least 25 million copies sold. For the structure of Rock Around the Clock, it uses a basic 12 bars blues format, and it's going to have an intro, an A section, which will include verse 1 and 2 with their choruses, a B section, which is a guitar solo, which we'll listen to later, and then an A section again, which is verse 3 and 4 with their choruses, a C section, which is the shout section where you can really hear the saxophone. It's basically the same as the B section, but they are distinct because the one shout section versus the solo. And then ending with the A section with verse 5 with the chorus. We're going to take a listen now to the intro of the song, which has a good hook and gains your attention by talking about all the numbers of a clock, which we'll discuss about later.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're going to rock around the clock tonight.
So you can see the intro goes through 1 through 12, and then also contains the title of the song, Rock Around the Clock. That will be used throughout the piece. What makes Rock Around the Clock a popular song is the rhyme scheme that it uses. The lyrics use a lot of rhyming and are very repetitive throughout the song. The lyrics are also very easy to remember. As we discussed in the beginning, the numbers go from 1 to 12, and as you see later, the different verses, they utilize the numbers 1 through 12 to complete the story of the song. The rhyming, each last word of each verse rhymes, as well as the last word in each chorus, and we'll highlight that later on for the first verse. The words rock and clock are also used throughout the song, just like in the title and the intro, Rock Around the Clock. These words are used throughout, and we'll hear that later. Each verse is very short, and with the quick upbeat tempo of the song, it goes by quickly, which the song totals in about 2 minutes and 8 seconds, which is a key to popular music. And like I said earlier, the lyrics tell a story of number 1 to 12, which is easy for listeners to remember. Some of the song elements. The song is very predictable as it repeats the same chord progression throughout the song. The chorus is catchy, and due to the short verses and quick tempo, it occurs a lot, repetitive. You quickly realize that the lyrics are going from order 1 to 12. An unexpected moment which kind of surprises you in the song is the guitar solo, which is very exciting and upbeat. Also, small note, this solo was actually used in another of Bill Haley's song called Rock the Joint 2 years earlier. We'll actually hear that guitar solo now. So as you can hear in that guitar solo, it's a lot of notes, very scalar, and also uses some syncopation to keep everything exciting. Throughout this solo, you could also hear that chord progression throughout the 1, 4, 5, and we'll discuss that more later. So here are the lyrics of the song with the intro, the verse 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We already discussed the intro, and you can see there how it talks about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it goes through all the numbers of a clock. And we'll actually listen to verse 1 right now and discuss some of the rhyme schemes, and the repetitiveness that makes this song so popular. So for the first verse, as you can hear, as we just listened to, I've highlighted some of the rhyme schemes that we talked about earlier. So you see in the first verse, put your glad rags on and join me, hun. We'll have some fun when the clock strikes 1. I've highlighted the last word there, and those rhyme. And throughout the lyrics, each verse, the last 2 words of each verse rhyme. And those first 2 lines are all in the same key and chord progression. And then I've also highlighted, then you see there, tonight, daylight, and tonight. Those are the same words, lyrics, throughout every verse. So it gets very repetitive, which makes it very easy to remember. The only new lyrics in every verse are the first 2 lines. And then like I said earlier, it uses rock and clock a lot. So I've highlighted those. And it just shows how repetitive and rhyming helps make a song catchy and memorable. You can see the chord progression there. It's a very simple 1-4, 1-5, which was popular in the rock and roll era. The instrumentation. So the instrumentation obviously used the guitar and the electric guitar solo, which kind of made it stand out and helps feel the energy of that piece. It also has the tenor saxophone that's definitely apparent in the shout section, which we'll listen to now. As you can hear, the shout section is very basic and it's just basically playing the chord progression, but it is a really good opportunity for a dance scene, dance break, which helped make this music popular. It's the dancing. To conclude, Rock Around the Clock is a very short, basic song that uses rhyming and repetition, and these characteristics are what make it memorable, along with being an upbeat tempo that could be danced to. It also tells a short and easy story using the numbers 1 through 12 that represent a clock. And as we discussed earlier, Rock Around the Clock's success was due to being in the film Black Book Jungle, which shows the importance of movies and music. Something continues today with the song Shallow and A Star Is Born even. That song is now on the radio constantly due to being in that film. And this song put rock and roll on the map in America. Like I said earlier, it was not the first rock and roll song, but it was the first one to reach the top of the billboards. Rock Around the Clock is still a very popular and catchy song to this day, and these are some of the reasons why. Thank you.